As always, Fulcrum Suspension have been at the forefront of engineering and designing lift kits for Aussie vehicles and Aussie conditions. And for the Volkswagen Amarok owners out there, this is no different. Today, we're going to be taking a look at exactly what you can expect when you get your lift kit, plus how it's going to look when you install it into your Volkswagen Amarok. Now, with the platform being vastly unchanged for over a decade, chances are this kit is going to be a perfect fit for your vehicle. But as always, if you're unsure, give us a call or head to the website fulcrumsuspensions.com.au. Anyway, let's get stuck in. Like all Formula 4x4 lift kits, they're designed and engineered by our R&D team right here in Brisbane, Australia, to provide the best possible ride quality both on and off-road for our tough Aussie conditions. They're going to also maximise articulation out of the standard vehicle geometry and suspension components, plus giving us that increased ride height, getting that vehicle body away from the ground and letting us fit slightly bigger tyres whilst keeping everything legal. Now, this vehicle behind me is a 2011 Amarok and is completely stock standard. Like I mentioned, they've basically been unchanged for the past decade. So all this is going to apply to you guys out there that have got brand new Amaroks too. What you can expect from your kit is a brand new set of rear leaf springs. Now, this car behind me, completely standard, no accessories fitted. So these leaf springs are quite light duty in their weight carrying ability. But obviously, if you have got a steel tray, big canopy, dual batteries and all that kind of stuff, we can obviously adjust the rear leaf springs to suit your needs. You're also going to get front coil springs to suit the front of these vehicles. Again, completely interchangeable with different weight rated springs, so that if you do have a bull bar, winch, aerial, spotlights, we can get the right ride height for you. You're going to get two brand new front Formula 4x4 struts, two brand new Formula 4x4 rear shocks, new U-bolts, a comprehensive Super Pro bushing kit, as well as some brand new tail shaft bolts. It's all going to come together so that you're not stuck at the 11th hour missing components. Let's talk warranty real quick. Now, like all Formula 4x4 lift kits, they come with our standard 12-month nationwide warranty, but you have the ability to upgrade completely free of charge to our nationwide 5-year warranty, which means no matter how harsh you are on the gear, on or off-road, Fulcrum have got you covered. So what can you expect from your Formula 4x4 shocks in your Amarok? Well, the first thing is specific valving for Australian conditions by Fulcrum. These aren't just a one-size-fits-all, every vehicle gets the same. These are valves specifically for Amaroks for the conditions that you're going to be taking them through. The outback, the corrugations, the big washouts, beach driving, tough tracks, plus on road. So you're going to have a superior ride quality. We also use advanced pistons and seals, which gives you guys longevity and trust in that product, meaning it'll get you there and back again. They're also around 20% larger diameter and larger bore than other shocks out there on the market, which means a much greater capacity in the shock, which means it's going to stay cooler and perform better for longer, which when you're rally bashing off-road in your Amarok, you're going to want. They're also made from a high-grade carbon steel, which means they're super strong, super reliable, and they're going to be able to withstand anything that you can throw at them. Plus, we even reinforce our mounts, which means bending standard struts is not something you have to worry about. Plus, on top of all that, all our struts come pre-fitted where possible with Super Pro bushers, which are of course polyurethane, have that lifetime warranty, made in Australia. So you know guys, when you buy a Formula 4x4 lift kit, you're getting quality shocks, quality suspension bushers and quality components in general. And when it comes to the springs on your Amarok and your lift kit, this is what you're going to be getting. You're going to be getting a set of world-renowned King coil springs, which are made from X5K steel, which is about 30% lighter than others out there, but just as strong, allowing that ride height to be adjusted and maximizing articulation. Plus, our high quality Formula rear leaf springs. And like I mentioned at the start of this video, these are completely interchangeable with a whole bunch of different spring rates. These are a very light comfort duty spring for the front and the rear because this Amarok behind me has no accessories. But if you guys do have accessories fitted and you're a little bit unsure, give our team a call and they can talk you through exactly what you need. Now, we've already taken the before measurements of this vehicle from the hub to the guard. The front was sitting at 510 mil and the rear was at 560 mil. I reckon it's time for me to get out of the way. We'll let the guys here at the Fulcrum Arndale Park do their work. We'll fit this kit, we'll see how it sits, how it measures up, and how it drives. So Daniel's just finished installing this new Formula 4x4 lift kit in the Amarok, and I've got to say it looks amazing. I personally think everything deserves and needs a Formula lift kit in its life. The rears come up 30mm from where we started, which is exactly what we expected. Now, something that we didn't expect was the front to jump up 60mm. And there's a couple of factors that are involved here. The first is that obviously these brand new springs will need to settle, so that's going to come down 5 to 10mm. Plus, what we found when we pulled the original stuff out of the front of this Amarok is that the shocks were blown, and I reckon the springs had sagged quite a bit over the time in this vehicle's life. So that 60mm now is probably the equivalent of 40mm over non-sagged suspension. We've also kept a nice positive rake of the vehicle, which is designed into it when Volkswagen manufacture these things, and we've given it alignment, which is super critical to help correct everything and make sure the caster camber, toe and all that stuff is still exactly where it needs to be acceptable for the road. If you guys are doing this at home, I strongly urge you, and you should definitely go get an alignment at one of our Fulcrum stores or Fulcrum dealers all over the country. And if you're not sure where they are, give us a call or head over to fulcrumsuspensions.com.au. But now that we've fitted this thing, it's time for my favorite bit, taking it off-road, seeing how it performs, and give it hell. Let's head to the track. Tracks. Well, we've just left the Arndell Park workshop. We're in the big Amarok. It's a manual, which I wasn't expecting. Thankfully, I'm a man of many talents. And I mean, the first thing I've noticed is how much of an improvement this thing has on bumps, on those sort of short, sharp, harsh bumps where normally it would really sort of reverberate through the car, and it did before. Now that we've fitted this Formula lift kit, it drives so much nicer, it behaves better. I think it's also got a lot to do with that nice alignment that we put in the vehicle and making sure everything was sort of back to a nice, acceptable measure. I think a couple of other factors that have probably helped this car is that the valving on those Formula 4x4 shocks is specific to this vehicle, specific to the Amaroks, and designed for comfort and I guess ability. And that's ability on and off-road. And this is now such a comfortable car to drive, to turn into corners and that kind of thing. And the right amount of positive rake has made a massive difference. The other factor that I think has got this car driving so much nicer is the fact that when we pulled the original shocks and struts out of this thing, we found that both front struts were completely blown to smithereens and the springs had sagged a lot, which would have meant that this thing on those sort of short, sharp, harsh bumps, speed bumps, car parks and that kind of thing, I think the original owner would have been finding a lot of bump stops. So that's never a nice, comfortable ride for anybody. So now that we've sort of raised the front of this 50 to 60mm and the rear 30mm, we've got the appropriate spring rates fitted in the leafs and the coils. This thing just drives so much nicer. Obviously it's a Volkswagen Amarok too, so that helps. It's a nice place to be. Next step is you're gonna come with me. We're gonna head over to our four-wheel drive test track, which I'm super excited about, and a massive thank you to Driving Solutions for letting us run rampant through it. I reckon we'll go see if we can get this thing a little bit stuck and maybe send it through a bog hole or two, hey? Let's go. So we're at our first little obstacle, which is sort of your textbook opposing wheels, wombat holes, and that kind of thing. Now, obviously I've spent a little bit of time here taking a multitude of cars through here. And generally the vehicles that either don't have lockers fitted or have standard suspension struggle. With this Formula kit, we've not only made the ride quality so much better, we've lifted the ground clearance on it. We're going to be able to fit bigger tyres now, but we've also increased the articulation and the suspension travel by fitting those longer shocks. As simple as slipping this Amarok into low range, and you can see we're basically just idling through this now with full traction, all wheels on the ground for the most part, which is exactly what you want out of your off-road suspension. And you can really see that suspension going right through its range of motion, really putting it to the test. Big tick for the Formula lift kit in the Amarok. Now, one of the beautiful things about a 4x4 lift kit is in the title, lift kit. You're lifting the suspension, raising that body up away from the ground, which is going to help a lot of things. A, you can fit bigger tyres, which is fantastic. B, you're going to have way more approach departure angle and rollover angle. And my other favourite thing is that slightly higher wading depth for when you're tackling water crossings like what we've just done, which gives you the confidence, even if you don't have a snorkel fitted like this stock standard Amarok, you can still get a little bit of extra water out of it. You know, we've lifted the front of this car up 40 to 50 to 60 mil higher than what it was originally, which gives you 2 or 3 inches more wading depth than what you had without that lift kit in it. So another massive tip for our Formula 4x4 lift kits. Well, folks, I meant to stall. This next little section is just what we like to use at this sort of facility as the textbook example of approach and departure angle. And again, one of the best things about fitting a lift kit to any sort of 4x4 vehicle is that improved approach angle and improved departure angle, which is simply put as how aggressive, I guess, an obstacle you can drive up to without hitting that factory front bar. Now, on a standard car like this, it's pretty important to maximize that approach and departure angle. And with the Formula 4x4 lift kit, we've absolutely done that, which is exactly what you want. So we're just heading over a couple of this would be a pretty annoying sort of obstacle really to deal with in person. But nothing that the Amarok with this new lift kit can't take within its stride. Just watching those wheels move through their range of motion, making sure I don't drop this on its sill, because that would be good night, Irene. And it's loved it. Tell you what, it's not the first Amarok I've driven. It's not going to be the last. And every time I get in them, I'm quietly quite impressed. Should we test it, cameraman? Should we test this suspension? Huh? Yeah. Going up a hill, huh? What do you reckon? You're going to hold onto your socks? We're doing it. Well, behind me is one epic looking, epic driving Amarok. It's got our Formula 4x4 kit in it, King springs, Formula Leaf springs. It's freshly aligned by the team at Arndale Park and it looks $1 million. And trust me when I tell you, it drives so good on-road and even better off-road. And if you guys want to find out anything more about our Formula 4x4 range, if you're a Volkswagen Amarok owner and you want to find out more about this kit, I'll put all the links you need in the description of this video. Otherwise guys, hopefully this has helped you make an informed decision about lifting your Volkswagen Amarok. And well, get out there and enjoy the great outdoors.